Tell me, how many types of adjustments can be given? 15, 16, 20. If you list down 20 adjustments, dividend adjustment, bonus adjustment, inventory adjustment, fair value adjustment, deferred tax adjustment, if you list down all of these, at the most you will get 15 to 20 adjustments. If you know how to handle those 15 to 20 adjustments, this chapter is done. Go back and see, are you able to solve last 3 or 4 attempt questions on financial instruments? I have seen so many certified copies of students where students have made silly mistakes. They ignore this chapter. We tend to ignore this chapter and see what they have done. 11 plus 2, 13 marks.
Before we start this video, do like and subscribe to our channel and not miss on any updates.
Hello students. If you are writing May 25 CA final examination, then this video is for you. You have landed at the right place. And watch the next 5-7 minutes. I will not waste much of your time. This will give you absolute clarity on what is to be done in the next 30-35 days before the examination. Some of you might be stressed. Some of you might be lacking confidence. Some of you might be thinking about pending syllabus. You have kept on postponing that we'll do later, and finally we are just a month before the examination and there's a lot of pressure on us to complete the syllabus. Some of you might be confused as to how to revise this fast syllabus. And then some of you might be worried about the paper ideas. I will address all of those in this short video. I will not waste much of your time. So without further delay, one thing I want to tell each one of you is that if you are stressed, if you are lacking confidence, if you are fearful for whatever reasons, trust me, it is natural. I have told this earlier as well and I am repeating it. Everybody goes through this examination stress. You have gone through this in CA Foundation, you have gone through this in CA Inter, you are going through this in CA Final. In future lifetime also, you will be going through multiple types of stress. So first and the foremost thing I want all of you to do is accept it. Don't try to fight this stress, lack of confidence, lack of preparedness. Accept it. The moment you accept it, the intensity will automatically reduce. If you don't trust me, just try this for 3-4 days. That okay, whatever has happened, I have no control over it. Next 30-35 days, I will put my 110% for preparation, revision, practice, mock test and see the difference. Okay. If you keep on crying about what you could not do in the past, in the next 30 days also, it will not make much of help. It will not be much of help to you. It will not be beneficial to you. So first and the foremost thing, understand it is natural. I have gone through it. Your friends are going through it. The first ranker goes through it. The one who has done it, multiple attempts, that person also goes through it. Everybody goes through it. The only way is to accept it and be mindful that yes, this is a tough examination. We have done mistakes in the past. Let us now not repeat in the future. That is the first thing I want all of you to do. The second thing, I want to knock off the fear of IBS. So people or students who are writing this paper, IBS, how much to prepare, what to prepare and all of that, if you are worried about it, please park it aside and please be mindful that if you prepare your core 5 subjects and if you have a reasonable grip over the remaining 2 subjects of your law and costing, that is the strategic performance management and strategic cost management, then you will be able to manage this paper. Okay. For this paper, if at all you have low confidence, if you feel I will not be able to manage this, just pick up one case study per day. For the next 30-35 days, just pick up one case study per day, starting from November 24 paper, then go back to the previous May 24 paper, then go back to the case study digest. Pick up these papers and maybe pick up RTP. Okay, practice one case per day. That will give you a good amount of confidence because the preparation for this paper comes from your core 5 subjects plus law and costing. Okay, so that is one thing that should not hamper your preparation schedule. Now coming to the planning for the next 30-35 days, you would have already made a revision plan. If you have not made a revision plan, see which subject needs more attention, which subject needs more focus, and accordingly make your plan, because each one of you will be making your own plan. Here I will be discussing about how to handle the first paper, that is my paper, financial reporting, and how can we ensure that we get maximum score in this particular paper. Now coming to financial reporting, I am just putting out the past paper analysis. Of course, past examination pattern is not a benchmark for the future attempt, but we will get some kind of clarity by looking at this analysis as to what kind of paper or questions does the institute normally set. That is the first thing. And second thing, what I want all of you to keep in mind is that in any paper, and this I have told multiple times, multiple means multiple times, in any paper, if you take a 100-mark paper, now we will split that into 30 mark of MCQ and 70 mark of descriptive paper. Okay. First, our target should be to maximize score in MCQ. Now, here also a lot of students have this problem that, sir, where to practice this MCQ from? Should I do IndigoLearn's MCQ? Should I do ICI's MCQ? Should I do this MCQ? Should I do that MCQ? Friends, as far as MCQ is concerned, presentation is not required in the examination. You don't need to remember a lot of things. The only thing that is required for MCQ, and I have told this multiple times, is concept. If your conceptual clarity is good, then you will be able to manage the MCQ. Sir, I am still not able to get a hold or get confidence onto it. Then in that case, pick up some random integrated case study MCQs given by ICI. Pick up some random MCQs from our website. We have comprehensive test. Pick up some random MCQs from viewers knowledge portal. That will be sufficient. If your basic concept is correct, you don't need to break your head on MCQ. Don't waste time there. That is the first thing. And out of these 30 marks of MCQ, maximize the score. Not less than 20 to 25 is what I would expect each one to appear or each one to get marks from. What will happen is, if you are able to secure these marks from MCQ, the burden on descriptive will automatically reduce. That is the first thing. And second thing is, take up any paper, take up even the toughest paper, take up the bouncer paper of November 23 attempt. Even in that paper, you will see at least 40 to 60 percentage, now not marks, I'll say percentage, at least 40 to 60% means out of the 70 marks paper, you will be in a position, if you have done a reasonable preparation, out of the 70 marks, you will be able to attempt for 30 to 35 marks easily, comfortably. Take up any paper, you will be able to do this. So first thing is to be confident that yes, even with my existing level of preparation, if I have completed the syllabus once fully, I will be able to attempt and get 30 to 35 marks or attempt 30 to 35 marks properly. Then focus on the remaining part, which is more difficult. Okay, that is the breakdown of question paper. So don't get into this fear that, and I have seen this with many students assume that institute is our enemy, which many of us think in that way, and institute will give us the most difficult question from each of the chapter. That is not the case. They will make questions, they will make question papers as if an average student is appearing, and if you have done a reasonable preparation, you will be able to score reasonable marks. So then why are we not getting good marks? Why are we not able to score higher marks? I did one more video on examiner's comment. Go through that video, you will understand what kind of silly mistakes students are doing and hence losing marks. You will not follow steps, you will not write working notes, you will write wrong ledger accounts, and then you lose marks. Okay, so that is the first thing. Now coming to chapters, which chapters to focus on and how to do it. First and the foremost, you should be focusing on is business combination and consolidated financial statement. Of course, business combination forms the basis for you to do consolidated financial statement, and second one is financial instruments. These are the two chapters where we know we will get compulsory means we'll obviously get one question in the examination, plus we'll get some questions in MCQ. These two chapters put together can easily account for 30 to 35 marks, in some cases even 40 marks as well in your examination, right? So these two chapters cannot be ignored. Now I'll tell you the problem with students in these two chapters. We are scared because these chapters are lengthy. So there is too much of theory to read in this chapter, prepare in this chapter. My dear friends, what I want you to do is, if you feel that theory is too heavy for you, you can refer to simplified notes, like refer to our notes which are more simplified. But first thing that you will do in these chapters is get a hold on the questions. Because very rarely you will see a 16 marks theoretical question from this chapter. They will test question. For example, consolidation, business combination, and all of those things. Tell me, how many types of adjustments can be given? 15, 16, 20. If you list down 20 adjustments, dividend adjustment, bonus adjustment, inventory adjustment, fair value adjustment, deferred tax adjustment. If you list down all of these, at the most you will get 15 to 20 adjustments. If you know how to handle those 15 to 20 adjustments, this chapter is done. The only problem that can arise in examination is a complex language or a vague language. Now that is not in our control. So if you are able to understand the questions and adjustments from this chapter, you can easily be able to manage this. And one more suggestion from my side, do not waste too much of time to solve full questions while revising. If you are able to do the adjustments correctly, balance sheet is nothing but A plus B. Balance sheet is nothing but A plus B. And I'll tell you, in business combination and consolidation, for preparing the balance sheet, you will get 3 to 4 marks. For preparing the notes to accounts, you will get 3 to 4 marks. For preparing working notes, you will get 3 to 4 marks. So scoring is also better. So don't avoid this chapter. Same thing with financial instrument. Way too many concepts, way too many definitions to remember. But first, if you are comfortable with the questions, a large part of that will be taken care of. For example, can you do amortized cost method? Can you do compound financial instrument? Can you do derivative basic accounting? Okay, can you do accounting for modification? If you are able to do these smaller parts, then theory is something which you can consider it towards later part of your revision as well. Now, one benchmark for you is go back and see, are you able to solve last 3 or 4 attempt questions on financial instruments? Okay, exam paper questions. If you are able to solve it, then there is nothing like that. And plus, this also is a high scoring topic. I'll tell you, I've seen students scoring 8 out of 8, 10 out of 10, 14 out of 14. It is possible. So first priority is this. After this, another set where you have to focus on is this part. These are easier chapters, but frequently tested. Now, why I call them easier? Because Ind AS 2, 16, borrowing cost, intangible investment properties, again similar to PPE, non-current assets held for sale and discontinued operation. All of these chapters except for leases, this will discuss separately. These are basic chapters which you have done in inter also, which you are redoing in final. Of course, some places here and there are some changes, but these are the chapters which you are comfortable with. So if you are comfortable with those chapters, then first try to take care of those chapters. And if you see historically, good amount of weightage is there. So 15 to 20 marks can be expected from here. Then leases specifically, you put some extra effort because again, leases is a slightly lengthy and tough chapter, especially when they give some weird adjustments. If it comes to, let's say, modification and all of that, that is where it becomes slightly difficult. So put some extra focus here. Then revenue. When it comes to revenue accounting, conceptual, if you ask me, it is one of the simplest chapter, but the thing is, it is again very lengthy. So if you are able to handle specific questions from this chapter, it will be easy for you, right? So that is one more thing I want you to focus on. Then first time adoption and analysis of financial statement, simple and straightforward chapter, again highly scoring. And for this you just go through the questions given in the study material. That will be more than sufficient. After that, remaining time you can dedicate for the remaining chapters. Okay, this will ensure that you have comprehensively covered your study of financial reporting or revision of financial reporting. Now there are some chapters like, let's say, Ind AS 113. Very rarely they ask a question, and even if they ask, they'll ask some small bit. Okay, because this chapter has nothing great in terms of writing or framing the questions and all of that. It is more about understanding and explaining. So this you can do it maybe slightly towards the end. Ind AS 8 and Ind AS 10, basic concepts. These are just basic concepts. You just need to know how to present the answers, right? So that way, you'll be able to cover it comprehensively. Focus, as I told you, should be on all the questions of business combination, consolidation, then your leases, revenue, and this big chunk where students feel. Now, I'll tell you one thing. There was a very easy question on Ind AS 16, property, plant and equipment. In fact, 2 questions. I have seen so many certified copies of students where students have made silly mistakes. They ignore this chapter. We tend to ignore this chapter and see what they have done. 11 plus 2, 13 marks in the previous examination. Like that, sometime it can be inventory, sometime it can be any other chapter. We of course cannot predict that. But Don't ignore these chapters thinking you know, because we feel we know all of these and we ignore it. Whereas this can make or break your result in the upcoming examination, right? So that is the whole idea or the whole approach that you should be doing. One more doubt or one more case what a lot of students ask is that how to write theory answers. So for theory, no need to go for very long. So when it comes to theory questions, sometimes you are confused as to how much to write. So what you can do is, whenever you write a theoretical answer, first write down what is the given relevant concept of the particular standard. You can write it in your own words. Then analyze the case. And then give the conclusion. Now please understand, a lot of time I have seen students, they don't give conclusion and they lose marks. That is the first thing. Second thing is, in a lot of institutes answer, okay, and I've seen that institute answers are generally unnecessarily lengthy. Paragraph number, this number, that number, and all of that. That much is not required. Even if you are able to break it down, the key concept, the facts of the case, and the conclusion, that is more than sufficient. A 5-mark or a 6-mark question, you should not be writing more than 1 to 1.5 page. Okay, that should be the ideal thing. Even if you write 5 page, your marks will not change. Even if you write 5 page, your marks will not change. I hope this broad guidance will help you to prepare well for financial reporting, and all the best for your examinations. Do well and write well.